everybody, it's Christina of CraftyPaws. I'm so excited to share with you guys a clean and simple card that I created using the adorable little stamp set So Very Much from the Unity Stamp Company. And this image I thought was so darling. The puppy and the little girl nose to nose was so sweet. And I knew I wanted to get back into watercoloring. And so I thought I would share the process with you guys. So I'm first inking up the little image of the puppy and the girl along with the main sentiment that says, I just love you so very, very much. And I'm going to use my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers. I thought that would give a nice painterly watercolored look. So I'm using a light blue to get in the highlights of the little girl's hair. I'm giving some space to that to let it dry a little bit naturally, and I'm using a yellow zig marker to color in the little polka dots on her shirt. And then I'm going to use a Persian blue to give her a overall blue shirt look. And I'm layering in just where I want the darkest color. So the crease of her arm, the lower part of her arm on the floor, the tucked in area by her shoulder under her neck. Those are the areas where I'm going to put in the color, and then I'm going to use my Pentel water brush to kind of blend it out. And I'm trying to control the water flow a little bit here, so I'm using a tissue to wipe off some of the water from the water brush. That's a little bit off camera, but then I'm going back in and blending out from the kind of initial blended out area a little bit further. Now I'm putting in the dark black part of her hair where her bangs start at the base of where her hair starts by her neck, where her ponytail cinches in the hair, the wisps right where they start from her head, the ponytail cinched area, the bottom of the ponytail. And then I'm blending out again with my water brush, and I'm just using kind of a flicking motion. I'm making sure to leave a little space so that the blue highlighted areas don't get totally covered up by the watercoloring. And then I'm going to go back to layering in the second layer of color on her shirt. I'm extending out the blue areas a little bit further just because I realized once the water dried, it made the shirt very pale, and I wanted it to be a little bit darker, a little bit more intense. I love this Persian blue color, and I'm just trying to get it a little bit more saturated of a look. So I'm coming back in with the markers, extending out that blue colored area, and then going back in and blending out to extend the areas. I don't want the whole thing to look flat, so I'm trying to take care to just blend out a little as possible. Now for the puppy, I decided I'm going to give this puppy the spotted look of my bandito. So around the top of the forehead and the ears are going to be brown. And I've used a brown color and a light brown color. And then where the shadows are, I'm using a mid-tone brown color. If you're interested in the particular Zig Clean Color Real Brush marker colors that I used, all of them will be listed in my blog post, which I will link to in the description box below. But for the puppy, I wanted to kind of keep the fur texture, so I'm not blending that out with my water brush. I'm just layering in different flicking of those markers. And then for the white areas, I'm using a pale gray. And again, I'm trying to layer in the colors on the lower parts of the arm. I'm blending out a little bit here just because I realized it came out a little bit darker than I wanted. So I'm using my Pentel water brush to blend out and then dabbing up the excess water with my tissue. I'm going back in to layer in another layer of fur texture, and then I'm dabbing up excess with my tissue. So watercoloring is really forgiving in that sense. Here I'm showing you I'm adding in more defined texture for the little girl's hair by going in again with that black Clean Color Real Brush marker, and this time I'm not going to be blending out this top layer with my water brush. I'm just going to leave in that flicking texture directly from the marker. Now I'm going to use a flesh color to color in her skin, her ears, her face, her hands, and it's not coming across very well in the video, just I think partly due to my lighting, but also I wanted to make sure I got a little bit of a blush color. So I'm using a pale pink for her cheeks and then blending out with that flesh color. And as I dab up the excess with my tissue, it's making it even paler, but in real life, it's got a nice rosy hue to her skin. And I'm layering in an extra layer of color directly from the marker for the shadowed areas. Now, to make sure that it looks like the puppy and the girl aren't just floating in midair, I am going in with a dark brown to establish the floor. And I'm blending this out with my water brush just a little bit. And I'm realizing that the blended out areas is coming across a little bit reddish. And I didn't like that. I didn't want it to compete with the light brown reddish hue of the puppy. So I'm coming back in, blending out further, adding more of the brown ink, and then now I have blended out further, but I'm adding in an extra layer to just show the wood grain texture of the floor that they're on. So I'm kind of creating the essence of knots in the wood, and that's the finished watercolor. I'm using a Lawn Fawn fancy scalloped rectangle die to cut out the image, and then I've mounted it on dark blue shimmery cardstock for a card base. And then I use the other sentiment inside. I stamped it off center, and I'm just using a carmine red to color in the little heart. And that's the inside liner. I hope you've enjoyed this process video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. I hope you guys are having a wonderful crafty day, and thanks so much for watching.